Good morning. Sorry for that. Good morning. We hope you're well wherever you are. Welcome to our webinar today. The webinar is on simple steps to build your non-profits brand through storytelling. I really hope I'm audible enough. Yeah, you're so much welcome, and we are really happy to have you here. My name is Joyce Salat, and I am part of the TechSoup Kenya team. Yeah, so this session is all about helping the non-profits like yours to share their impact through storytelling and branding. And yeah, at the end of the session, we'll have an array of products to show you on our catalog that will assist you on branding. If you're just joining us, this is TechSoup Kenya webinar on simple steps to build your non-profits brand through storytelling. And to start us off, we'd really love to know who is in the room. Please introduce yourself in the chat. Share your name, your organization, and the country that you're joining us from. Yeah, share your name, your organization, and the country that you're joining us from. Uh, Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Yeah. Um, I can see J. Kalu. Thank you, J. Kali. You've not mentioned the organization, but you're so much welcome. Yeah, keep them coming. Your name, your organization, and the country that you're joining us from. So, before we begin, I'd like to take you through a few housekeeping guidelines. Please keep your microphone muted unless you're speaking. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat during the session. And during the Q&A session, we will address them. This session is being recorded, and we will share the recording after the webinar. Thank you. Keep the introductions coming. Share your name, your organization, and the country that you're joining us from. Yeah, and we will read it out loud. Thank you. So we'll cover the following during the session. We'll give an introduction to TechSoup, who we are and what we do. We will also introduce the storytelling for nonprofits. We'll then dive into the simple steps to building a nonprofits brand through storytelling. We'll also mention the tools to strengthen your brand building through storytelling, and we'll also have Q&A session. Thank you so much. Keep the introductions coming, and we'll read them out loud. I can see Jacqueline Shibalira. Oh, you think there's an echo? So we will address that. Okay. I'd like to introduce Hosea, who will tell us more about TechSoup and how we support and profits. So yeah, Hosea, over to you.
Thank you, Joyce, for that great introduction. I just wanted to say it's a beautiful morning, and we are glad to have you all here. Please allow me to just welcome you again back. This is a webinar by TechSoup Kenya on telling your stories, and for the purpose of any new participant who are not yet TechSoup members, I'll be just giving a brief introduction of who TechSoup is, just if anyone may be wondering what we do in terms of TechSoup program. So yeah, my name is Hosea Gamau. I'm joining you from TechSoup Kenya. TechSoup, it's a technology donation discount program that offers access to ICE technology solutions for non-profit organization. These also include the faith-based organization. Our value proposition is where we give this access for both donation and discount, where they are highly subsidized rate. This is, of course, in partnership with our various technology partners that we have in various regions. Just to explain more about who TechSoup is in terms of our mission and all that, is that TechSoup itself is a 501c with headquarters in US. But for us to be able to reach all the grassroots organization, different continent, we work through a network we call TechSoup Global Network, which is just a network that brings all these organizations from various continents to be able to collaborate and support the various non-profit organizations in this cause of social impact. And this is because we believe through access to technology, all these non-profit organizations are able to do more in terms of the work they do. So I'm going to also to introduce Kenya Community Development Foundation in relation to TechSoup Global Network, where KCDF is a member of this network, which hosts TechSoup Kenya as a program. And this is an effort to be able to reach all the East African organizations in matters around TechSoup. So KCDF itself is a public charitable foundation that supports sustainable community-driven development. Since in existence back in 1997, KCDF has been in existence supporting various community initiatives around sustainable development. And because as KCDF also we believe that through better adoption of technology, organization can be able to even do more in terms of become more efficient, more effective around their processes. And through this technology, we believe you can be able to even do more in terms of your organization mission, ensuring that you meet your critical mandate of promoting the sustainable community development. It's because of these reasons that TechSoup Kenya exists, just to be able to see how best we can address these emerging issues around technology, because we share a common understanding of the current challenges and those opportunities, the non-profit. And this is where we work very closely with our various technology partners. In this case, we may refer them donors and all that. Yeah, just for them to be able to see how best they can be able to support in this cause through donations, but also extending some of their technology solutions and tools at highly subsidized prices for these organizations to be able to access. So for any organization that is legally registered and as operate as a non-profit, they are all welcome to be TechSoup members, because this program it's for all non-profit. Meaning, if you are there and you identify yourself as a non-profit, you are free to join TechSoup and see what's some of the available tools and solutions that you can be able to access. So, like I've said, our mission as TechSoup is trying to build this bridge, dynamic bridge, to leverage different technologies, tools, and solutions, enable to connect all various actors in the non-profit through our connect and provide these innovative solutions in an effort of achieving what we call equitable planet. So just for an analogy, so TechSoup, like I said, we are at this bridge where we are connecting these NPOs. These are non-profit with various technology partners, so that can be able to assess your requirement against the available tools that have been available. This is through our various TechSoup catalog from different countries, where organizations are able to identify which of these product or solutions that they can be able to assess and request in an effort of improving their efficiencies around productivity, collaboration, security, and all the technology aspects. So just as an analogy, of course, this is the problem that TechSoup really tries to address, where we kind of try to build a one-stop shop for all these solutions, so that as a non-profit organization, you can be able to get or access some of these tools from one basket. So in my presentation, this is just an analogy of how NPOs on ideally interact with various technology vendors. And what this would mean is that it would take a more time for you even to assess, because the aspect of the eligibility process, how does these vendors and confirm that you are who you are saying you are in terms of a non-profit, the great work that you are doing. So it means that it will take some time for this process to be completed, but also the effort for one organization going to each and every vendor, making an application and waiting that feedback. So that's one of the key areas that TechSoup tries to address. And the next second slide is what TechSoup tries to now simplify in terms of bringing all these technology vendors from whom have different solutions in one basket. And then these NPO, once they are registered as TechSoup member, where we conduct the eligibility process on behalf of these technology partners, depending on the guidelines that they have given. And then once this organization qualifies, it means they're able to access different product and services from our TechSoup catalog. So ideally, this is what TechSoup provides, and we are looking forward to having you more and even engaging more for any new members or any organization that would be interested to just what are some of the available products that we have on our catalog. So allow me to now move next to introduce our speaker of the day, Mr. Boniface Mutinda, who will be taking us through our topic today, just trying to break down the topic on storytelling, which is a very key topic, especially for non-profit organization. How best can we tell our impact, because this is who we are in terms of what we are doing. So, Boniface, this is you. I want to introduce you. Please come in and check it out.
Thank you very much, Hosea, and good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to meet all of you, and just to thank you so much for choosing the time even to join the call and to be with us. We are really privileged as KCDF, and more precisely as TechSoup Kenya, to see 69 of us joining the call this morning for this empowerment session, just for us to have an opportunity to share with you on what we are doing and what we can actually be able to support your organization in terms of storytelling and building your brand. I'm so excited to see all of you from different places. I've seen somebody from Zambia, and I've seen somebody from Uganda, Merab Ingabire. Thank you so much for joining us from Uganda. Merab Ingaribe from Solidarity Uganda. I've seen Brian David all the way from Busia. And I've also seen Jacqueline Shibarira, Doors of Hope Kenya, and all of you guys that are joining us from far and wide. I just want to, with very, very good, acknowledge the person from Zambia. And this is Kangwa Chizuka. Kangwa, thank you so much for joining us from Zambia. And all of you and all of us that are joining us from far and wide. We're truly honored that you guys created time to join us on this call for these 60 minutes of empowerment from here at TechSoup Kenya. Please do put your name, the name of your organization, and where you're joining us from on the chat. And we'll be more than glad to know where you're joining us from and to interact with you even in this particular session. Thank you so much again. My name is Boniface Mutinda. I am privileged to serve as the communications manager at KCDF, and I also lead the TechSoup Kenya program. Good job, Ozea and Joyce, for laying the foundation and telling us more about who we are as TechSoup. For those who are joining us for the first time, that is who we are, and that is our mandate, just to empower non-profits with technology solutions that are going to make sure that then you are able to do your work in the best way possible. That is why we exist. We are a non-profit just like you. We understand your organization because we are in the same sector, and therefore we consider ourselves very privileged to be able to bring this information and all these tools to you. Allow me now to just share my screen for the next few minutes to take you through some of these things, and then I believe we are going to roll together. I'll be sharing my screen. Yes, so let me know if you can see my screen. just by putting up a thumbs up there, and then I can go straight to introducing us to storytelling and how we can actually be able to use storytelling to build our brand. Thank you so much. Allow me to begin actually by just sharing a short video that I want us to watch. Joyce is going to put the link on the chat just in case the flow of the video is not very good. But again, here is the video. It's a very short clip. I just want us to watch it and then I'll be back. Here it is.
This area is, has been depending on one source of water, that is Kikuyu River. It's called Kikuyu River, and it's a
Hi, Boniface. I think we have an issue with the audio. Maybe you can check.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. If you have an issue with the audio, then allow me just to stop if you're not able to hear, but then the video link is on the chat. In that regard, allow me just to move on there for the interest of time and move to the presentation, and then I will engage us on this if you can see my screen. Now I want to draw your attention to the photo on the left of your screen. What comes to your mind when you see that picture? Yeah. What comes to your mind when you see that picture? You can put it on the chat and I'll be glad to sample just a few comments. What exactly comes to your mind when you see that photo? What comes to your mind? I would like to hear what comes to your mind, people. I don't know whether there's anybody putting something on the chat that we can be able to look at. I'm not able to see the chat there. Or Joyce, maybe if you can just prompt me or read any comment that people are putting on the chat. What comes to your mind when you see a photo of that man surrounded by children, and all that? What comes to your mind is, in the interest of storytelling? Please let us engage. Let us
Yes,
know what you think. Go ahead.
yes, Boniface. We have a comment from Meshak. Sharing grandfather advising his grandchildren. We have another one from Lucy just sharing that a very interesting story being told by their grandfather. Then we have Sandra sharing that it's oral storytelling, maybe passing down stories from their community. We have someone else by the name BD. It reminds me of grandpa telling us her tale and a whole interesting story. Then a comment from Tina, it's sharing orange. Yeah, those are just some of the messages that we have based on the feedback on
Wow.
what we can tell about the picture.
Lovely. That's beautiful. Actually, that is exactly it, the essence of storytelling. And all of you know that the history of storytelling goes back time immemorial, when grandfathers and grandmothers used to gather their grandchildren and tell stories. And storytelling has been used to pass on information, culture, language, virtues, values, and so on and so forth. And of course, channels of storytelling have evolved over time, from this type of, face-to-face conversation to written books, and to now what we are experiencing right now, the digital transformation and the digital era. So just to now get into it, what is storytelling? In my definition, storytelling is the art of using narratives to communicate an organization's mission, impact, and values in a way that resonates emotionally with its audience. Now, if we are talking about your organization using storytelling, it is actually your organization using narratives. Narratives are stories. Narratives are scenarios. Narratives are, stories of change, basically to communicate about your organization's mission, the values that you believe in, the impact, and in a way that can emotionally resonate with the audience. And of course, you know very well, in the nonprofit sector where we are all in, we storytelling is a big thing. It's a big thing. It's a big avenue that we use to make sure that we create a lasting emotional connection. I want you to see how the essence of emotional connection is such a crucial thing in the essence of storytelling, because it is in so doing that then people are able to connect with the work that you are doing. And just to bring in the relationship and the nexus between storytelling and brand building. Stories have the power to connect, inspire, and drive action, making them an invaluable asset for nonprofits and social enterprises striving to create meaningful change. This is according to Tabby Motsi. He emphasizes on the power of stories to connect and inspire audiences. And you know very well, storytelling is about creating an emotional connection. It's about moving beyond the mere facts, figures, annual reports, achievements, numbers, and so on and so forth, and now translating all that information into narratives that people can actually be able to resonate with. The video that we were to watch at the beginning, yes,
Hi,
Hosea.
Boniface. You can share your screen.
Sorry, I think,
Yes.
oh, I'm sorry if you're not able to see my screen. Let me share. I actually thought from the very beginning you were seeing my screen, but here we are. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes,
Good.
just
Putting it
put
on
it in
presentation mode.
yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So then I was just bringing in the relationship between storytelling and brand building, and you know what that means, and the ability of storytelling to help your organization in building your brand. So just to move further, I want to trying to show just trying to bring something down here so that you can be able to see me well. You can see my screen. Thank you very much. So yes, storytelling is about creating an emotional connection. We move beyond facts, figures, and to be able to weave narratives that resonate with our audiences on a very personal level. And this connection is what now translates into brand awareness, engagement, and support. So at this point, I want to call upon you to reflect about your organization. What is it that you do in your community? What is it that you're doing in Busia? What is it that you're doing in Zambia, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tharaka-Nithi, where your organization runs? Now, is it possible to bring out a story of your organization to an audience so that they can be able to emotionally connect with the work that you're doing? That is what is called the power of unlocking storytelling in a way that people can actually be able then to connect emotionally with the work that you're doing. Every story you tell reinforces your brand identity, and your audience should always recognize the tone, visuals, and messaging as part of your brand. How do you tell your story? How do you prepare the visuals, posters, images, photos, PowerPoint presentations like what I'm using now? Is it possible when you just project your first slide on a screen, people can actually be able to tell this is TechSoup, this is KCDF, this is organization X, Y, and Z? Every aspect of your organization's communication needs to project your brand, needs to project the brand of your organization. Consistent storytelling helps build trust and credibility to not only your audience, but also to your funders and other stakeholders. When people look at a story of change, a testimonial about work that you're doing as an organization, they're able to build trust and fall in love with the work that you're doing. Why does storytelling actually matter? Number one, storytelling humanizes the work that you do. If the work that we do as non-profits does not bring out the human aspect, then there's something missing. Even if it's touching on climate change, you need to show how, if we do not take care of our environment, if we do not take care of matters climate, how does that affect the people in that community? If your organization is doing work around environment, you need to create a relationship between how do people relate with environment and the work that you are doing. Number two, it makes your non-profits work relatable and memorable. People remember stories. If you look at the last point there, stories stick with us. And that's why you can remember stories that were told even years ago. You can still remember because the story was so interesting, it still resonates with the work that you do. Storytelling also helps build trust and emotional connections. I've spoken much about that. And it converts passive listeners into active supporters. You want to onboard the people that watch stories about your organization, then to come on board and become partners, to become active supporters. And that is why storytelling is really important. I'll move now to practical steps which you can leverage to build your non-profits brand through storytelling. Steps to building your non-profits brand through storytelling. Number one, what is the challenge? This is the question. Why does your organization exist? What is the problem that you're trying to solve? As TechSoup Kenya, what is the problem that we are trying to solve? And Hosea did a very good introduction at the beginning, saying that we exist to partner with community organizations like yours. We exist to partner with non-profit organizations like yours to be able to help you solve any technological challenges you have. We bring technology solutions to your organizations because we know the power of technology in today's world and in empowering nonprofits and community organizations in the work that you do. The question is, what is the challenge? What is the challenge? What is the problem that your organization is trying to solve? So your story must bring out first the challenge. The number two, then, how is your nonprofit making a difference? You must be able to show the impact, the transformation. This is the challenge, and this is how our organization is coming in to bring a solution to this particular challenge. The number three, you must now again bring out the human aspect. Who is impacted by the work that you do? A real person or the community makes the story relatable. As a matter of fact, there's a principle in storytelling, be it a picture, a photo, be it a poster, be it any information or infographic, audio visual you're putting out there. If you can put a human aspect into it, then people tend to relate more. That is the reason why when you look at billboards of products and services and things being sold out there, they will always speak a human face and put on that particular poster. Even when they are selling things that totally may not even be close to the face, they will actually put a face of a person and then they will advertise the product or the service that they are doing. Because the human aspect is what people tend to relate with. And number four, your story needs to highlight voices from beneficiaries, staff, donors, volunteers, or even other stakeholders within the ecosystem or within the environment and the context within which you're operating. We'd like to hear stories of change from the beneficiaries themselves, the community that has been impacted by the work that you're doing. We would like storytelling to bring out their stories. What is their perspective? What is their voice? What are they saying about your organization? That is very important. What are other partners also think about the work that you do? That is very crucial. Different voices coming to create a balanced story, whether it is in written format, whether it is in an audio format, whether it is in a visual format. Different voices highlighted bring out a well-rounded narrative. And of course, a good story must have a call to action. The call to action is the answer to the so what. Yes, there's good work that you're doing in your organization. Yes, there's a lot of impact that you are creating. There's a lot of transformation that you're bringing within your community. Then finally, so what? What exactly do you want us to do? How do you want us to relate with your organization, with the work that you're doing? The call to action is the answer to what do you want your audience to do? Do you want us to support? Do you want us to fund? Do you want us to chip in terms of fundraising? Do you want us to come in as partners? Are you looking for new collaborations and new partners? That is exactly what is going to be brought forth from your call to action. So if at any given time your organization is sending out and putting out a story out there, these are the necessary steps then that you need to ensure that you follow and you ensure that they are well captured within your story. Bring out the challenge. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Number two, how is your nonprofit making a difference? What is the solution that you're bringing to the problem that is existing right there? And then number three, who is being impacted by your work? What is your niche? Who is your target beneficiary? Is it children? Is it mothers? Is it old women, old men? Is it young people? You need to bring the aspect of who is actually impacted by your work. Sometimes this cuts across. It may not just be a specific demographic. It may be actually an area that cuts across all the people within a community. That is important to bring in. And of course, give them a chance to bring out their voices, to tell the stories themselves. Beneficiaries, the community, let them speak on your behalf. And then finally, ensure within your story, then you bring out a call to action. So what is it that you want the audience to do? Is your call to action to the community, to the government? If it's an it's an advocacy issue, is it something that you're sending out to your partners globally? What is it that you want them to do? These are simple steps that you must ensure that in your storytelling as a nonprofit, then you must bring them out to ensure it plays a role in building your brand. Here we have some crucial tips in storytelling. There are various ways in which you can be able to tell stories. You can use speeches, you can use photos, posters, videos, graphics, and all forms of audio-visual tools to make your story more compelling. And by the end of this presentation, we will be able to showcase some of the tools that you can actually be able to leverage to bring out the best graphics, best videos, amazing posters, just to be able to tell your story in the best way possible. And of course, ensure your storytelling aligns with your brand values and messaging. It's also important to use real, honest stories to build credibility and emotional connection in a way that avoids exaggeration. Always bring out real stories, real people, real stories, real transformation. That must be your mantra. Bringing out real stories from real people and showcasing real impact. What has actually happened in that particular organization? The video that we've put the link on the chat. Once you watch that video, it's a sample of one of our of our projects that we're implementing in the eastern part of Kenya, in a county called Makueni, a community that is deeply affected by a water, access to water issues and challenges. And women and children have to walk long distances to go and fetch water from a seasonal river. And you can imagine what that does to them when the dry season comes in. And KCDF, together with our partners, we went to that community, and the community spoke to us and told us, this is our challenge. Our children are suffering, our women are suffering, our animals are dying. How can you be able to help us? And we put resources together. The community was at the forefront in actually doing what we call local resource mobilization. And we put together resources by matching their resources, and we created a water point, a borehole that is able to supply that entire community with water, both for their domestic use and even for their animals. And now children, women do not have to suffer anymore by walking long distances to actually go and fetch water. You can imagine what that does in the ripple effect. Children, after coming out of school, they have to find their way to the water point, and it's tiring. It affects their performance in class, and so on and so forth, and all issues around family issues, because there's no water, there's no food, and so on and so forth. And in that story, then we bring out the impact. We allow the community to talk and to express, what this means for them. And then, of course, finally, we have a call to action, calling for partnerships and telling people, you want to be part of this good work? Yes, you can come on board. You can partner with us. Or rather, do you know, or are you a member of a community that needs support in such a way? Then we are here as KCDF to be able to extend such support. This is the power of storytelling, and that is exactly how you're able to build your brand for your organization through a storytelling. I would like to move to now be able to showcase for you some of the tools that we have to catalyze your branding through storytelling. Because, of course, a good story is as good as the tools, as the team behind the story. And for you to bring out a good story, you have to have the right tools then to be able to package a good story, to package a good poster, to package a good written communication, to send it out to your partners and be able to speak and communicate well about your organization. So let's start with what we call graphics design and branding. Wow. Now, this is the meat of it. You know very well what good design plays in proper communication and branding for your organization. We have three key tools that any organization can be able to leverage on. And remember what Hosea did speak at the beginning. As TechSoup, we extend these tools, these technology solutions, to non-profits only. That is our niche. We are not in the commercial space. We are doing this for non-profits, and you are able to access all these at the non-profits offer, 60% discounted price compared to the price in the commercial space. So let's talk about Adobe Express. This is a user-friendly design tool for creating graphics, posters, and visual stories for your social media. So if you're there and you're struggling with creating great posters, bringing out nice graphics, Adobe Express is just the tool that you need. And by the way, today in the current era of AI, Adobe Express is now integrated with AI, and it's able to bring out and generate images and graphics to bring out your messaging even in a much better way. Same applies to Photoshop Elements. I've simplified version of Photoshop for editing, enhancing images to maintain brand consistency. You need these two key tools to be able to sharpen your posters, sharpen your images, to make sure that whatever you're posting out there, it's amazing, it's great. I know some of you guys are now leveraging on Instagram, and all the filters right there on TikTok and so on and so forth. But you know what? Here are professional tools that your organization can leverage on, so that even as you post images out there on your social media platforms, on your website, They're well sharpened, graphics that communicate, posters that sound and that speak well about your brand. And of course, not forgetting Microsoft Publisher. This is a desktop publishing tool included in MS365 for designing brochures, newsletters, and marketing materials. So you know what? If you're out there as a nonprofit, you need these tools. If you don't have Adobe Express, you need to have Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop, you need to have MS Publisher. Let's talk about email and communication. Sometimes, and most of the times, we communicate through emails. It is through emails that you send stories to our donors, to our partners. You want to do a pitch, a proper email. MS365, it's a suite of productivity tools that help nonprofits send branded emails, collaborate, and manage communication. If you look at the email that was sent to you, for instance, to inviting you for this webinar, well done, well packaged by our team, specially done for Microsoft 365. You need this entire package because it comes with different tools that you can actually be able to leverage on and make sure that when you're sending out an email, a communication, then it is spruced up, professional, and well done. Same for Constant Contact. This is an email marketing platform for designing and automating branded newsletters, donor outreach, and campaign emails. You don't want to send an email that goes out there that looks like this is a Word document. No, please avoid that. Get these tools. Embed a poster within your email. Embed a nice video and a call to action with a clickable link such that when it lands on your partners or on your audience's inbox, they have no otherwise but to open, read, and take action. These are some of the tools that we have on our catalog, and we can be able actually to sit down with you and your organization, do a demonstration, and illustrate to you how these tools work and how then you can be able to leverage on them. Let's talk about websites and online presence. Oh my. We describe a website as your shop that remains open even when your organization goes to sleep. When you guys close down shop at 5 p.m. in the evening, your website is still up and running. How have you built your website? How secure is your website? How best does it represent your organization? We have proper tools that can help you build a website. One is Wix, that gives you an easy to use building platform for websites to be able to have a polished online presence. AWS, it helps nonprofits build secure websites and host digital content. Same for Google Workspace. You need that account for your nonprofit to be able to begin positioning yourself on Google in a way that even other partners searching organizations like yours, then they can actually be able to find you. Open up your organization to the digital world and to the online space. Leverage on these tools and let the world begin to interact with you at a very close perspective because you're leveraging on the right tools. On social media, Hootsuite, platform that is amazing, allows you to schedule posts. You can even schedule posts even when you go on holiday. When you close down for your holidays, December vacation, Easter holiday, place the content right there beforehand. And then when the time comes, it will go. It will post and publish. It will give you metrics and sentiments. What is happening around the space where you're operating around in the digital world? All these tools are accessible. Adobe Express for engaging social media content, which can be able to create. We have all these tools that you can be able to leverage on. I don't know whether most of you have been able just to scroll through our catalog and see what is it that we do not have, what is it that we need. And by then, you don't have to have a big budget in your organization. No, whatever budget you have, come, let us sit down. Tell us, this is the area that we are struggling with. What tool would you recommend for us? What platform would you recommend for us to be able to achieve better results? And we will sit down with you, have a conversation, and we shall train you, of course, on which best tool you can be able to leverage on to take your organization to the next level. This is just a glimpse of what we have on our catalog, and I know Joyce is putting it on the chat, a link to our catalog where you can see much more of some of these tools and many others that you can leverage on and access this world of opportunities in terms of technology products. Let's talk about data and productivity. Data is a big thing today. Data is a big asset to any organization today. Now, you can have all those numbers in an Excel, but you need to project it in a way that is appealing to your audience. We have what you call Power BI. This is a tool that visualizes your data. You just key in your Excel sheet there, and you can see the nice colored graphs, pie charts flowing very well. And you can be able to project this to your leadership team, to your SMT, to your management, to your board, and you look like a genius. What they don't know is that you have Power BI. This is what you need. Dropbox is another one. Here you can be able to share ideas, collaborate on any file. Dropbox, you can actually be able to collaborate, signing documents, sharing documents in a space that is secure. You need Dropbox. You also need Box. It's a cloud storage for logos, marketing materials, and such assets that are very crucial for your organization. All these things, we have them. Stop storing data, your organization's data, on local disk C on your laptop, local disk D on your laptop. Come on board, come online, come where people are, that is exactly where the world is moving, into the digital space, into the online cloud world, where you can be able to collaborate. And we have all these tools for you to be able to leverage on, and much more is on our catalog that we are sharing. I want to move it quick so that then we can have a good time to answer any question that you have. And of course, feel free to put all these questions on the chat, and we'll be able to respond to as many as we can. So, do you want to build your brand? Do you want to tell your stories in the best way possible? Maybe what you're lacking are the right tools. You're lacking the right tools for your organization. And that's why we exist as TechSoup, to be able then to bring these tools to you and for you to leverage on them just at a click of a button. Time was then when now you had to go to all these technology companies across the world, and you have to send 25 emails before you have everything that you need. But now, thank God for TechSoup. We are here. We extend all these tools, technology products next, just at a click of a button. Once you talk to us, you will access all these tools from across all leading technology service providers from across the globe. Allow me to stop there and open the chat so that then we can take any questions that we have, and we can also get to hear your feedback. And what are some of the tools that you're using in your organizations to tell stories? And how effective have they been? And what support do you need? And that is the reason why we exist as TechSoup. So we are going to take a few questions, any question that you may have, and then we will respond. Hosea, I don't know whether there's any question that we can be able to respond.
Yeah, thank you, Boniface, for taking us through this. Yes, we have a few questions from the chat box. Allow me to just read them through. One is from Ruzi. The question is, what's the best way to put out your CTA so that it's more compelling? Also, a follow-up question on that, it's also, is there a minimum or maximum actions one can put out within one story? For example, including all the following: fundraising, volunteers, technical support, in-kind contribution. That's a question from Lucy. You want to address that, or I can move to the next one, then you address them all?
I think I can begin with those questions by Lucy. What's the best way to put out your call to action so that it is more compelling? There are many ways, Lucy, in which you can actually be able to put out your call to action. One of the ways is actually putting, or rather the best way would be having a call to action that prompts the viewer, the audience, to take action. You can either use a clickable link at the end of your story, if it's a document. If it's a video, you can even put a QR code at the end of the screen where people can scan and take action. You can even put your number or your contact if you want people then to reach out back to you. You can put a link to a donate gateway, for instance, if you want people to take action and donate towards the work that you do. There are so many ways in which you can actually be able to put out a call to action in a way that is more compelling. But again, your call to action will be effective, depending on how compelling your story is. If you follow the steps to a compelling story, then people will definitely want to take action as per your call to action. Is there a maximum or a minimum actions one can put out with one story? Say, for example, including all of the following: fundraising, volunteers, technical support, in-kind contributions. Now, for your call to action to be effective, it is advisable, or rather, I would advise you not to put out too many call to actions, because again, so many options will make people to be indecisive and finally take no action. You would want your audience to actually take an action, and therefore I would advise put out a call to action, at least one that is directed specifically to a certain audience, so that if you would want volunteers to come on board, then you can actually be able to measure the effectiveness of your story or of your story in terms of what action have they taken. Did they hit the call to action, and how many responded to that particular action? If you want to target different campaigns for different audiences, for different call to actions, then you can do different stories. You can do a story for volunteers, a story seeking contributions, and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Boniface. We have another one from Kangwa. It's just when does the storytelling begin? Can it be from the initial stage, from the moment you set up the organization?
Good question, Kangwa. I totally believe you need to tell your own story from the word go. From the moment you set your organization, you need to announce it to the world that here we are, who we are, and what we are trying to do. As a matter of fact, at the initial stages, you may not even have achieved any impact, but you have an aspiration, you have an agenda, you have the vision, you have the mission, and you have the values of the organization. That is a story enough to be told. Tell us, announce yourself, announce the name of your organization, announce what you believe in, and announce your mission and your vision. Precisely what you're doing on the chat at the beginning of this webinar. It is exactly that, storytelling. My name is Boniface Motinda from TechSoup Kenya. We exist to provide technology solutions to non-profits. That's a story. Simple pitch, straight to the point. So the best time to tell your story is from the beginning.
Thank you for that response. We also have another question on Q&A from Jackie. Asking, can an organization have more than one story? Do you have to tell each story? And how do you differentiate these stories from the original story of why you evolved?
Thank you. I'm reading two things from that question. One is the ability to tell different stories, and two, the evolution of an organization. Truth be told is that sometimes an organization can begin on this footing, on this agenda, on this context. But within time, the organization can pivot and move to other things or other different focus areas. Because again, we are living in a dynamic world that is changing over time. I totally agree. You can tell your story from the beginning. As a matter of fact, That would be a beautiful story. That look, this is how we began. We began as a self-help group that we just came together as a merry-go-round, session for women, for men, and this is what we were doing. We did not envision ourselves one day becoming a non-profit, a PBO. But then we were able to move from this focus. We were doing beekeeping, we were doing tree planting, but now we are doing social enterprise. Now we are focusing on community development. Now we are doing this and that. So it is possible to actually tell different stories for the same organization, but the stories, they must relate. There must be a flow from this is where we started, this is where we are, and this is where we want to go. So it is allowable for organizations to evolve, and don't shy away from telling your former story because you've changed and you're not doing something different. As a matter of fact, a lot of people will want to learn from your organization. How are you able to pivot and to evolve from who you used to be to who you are today? So tell your story. Don't shy away.
Thank you, Boniface. I think from the chat, we don't have any other question. And maybe for one or two questions, if you feel that you would like to speak up, you can raise your hand and then we can allow your mic. Just taking two more questions. Okay, we can see a question from Jacqueline. Please go ahead, Jacqueline.
Thank you very much.
Yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'd asked a question, though a stupid one, about Power BI. We have that the Power BI on Microsoft 365, but could you kindly just show us how to access it? Because you've talked about it, but then we have it, but we don't use it because we don't know how to access it. Could you just take a second to just show us how to access it if you can?
Okay, maybe I can take that. When you say you have Power BI and Micro 365, are you referring to the free Power BI that comes as part of the package or the paid one? Because for Power BI, the premium one and the pro version do not come as part of the package. However, for Micro 365, there is the free one, which you can do a bit of functions, but you need to pay for the pro version. So I'm not sure which one you are talking about, but ideally, when you go to your Office 365 dashboard, where you are able to explore other application app, when you go to Power BI, if you have the paid one, then you are able to utilize it. But you have the default one, which is the free one, then it's limited in terms of the features. But we can take this, we can follow up with this with you, Jacqueline, just to see how best we can be able to support you for the interest of time.
All right, thank you.
Any other burning question? Okay, Boniface, I think it seems like there is no other question. Probably back to you
Thank
for
you
the
very
next
much.
action.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. We truly appreciate our 60 seconds of come to an end at this point. We want to take this time and appreciate all of you for joining us for that session. And I want to wish you a very wonderful time as you go out there and use the simple steps of storytelling to building your organization's brand. There's much more that we have in store for you as TechSoup within every 1 hour, at least twice a month. And then we shall be able to share all this information with you, and we shall be able to give you much more. So if you'd like to contact us, I think we are putting our last slide on screen so that you can be able to take our numbers, our email, and if you would like any free consultation, we are at hand to be able to support you. Our number is 0790 476 499. 0790 476 499. And of course, our email is support@techsoupkenya.or.ke. And at any given time, we are more than glad to engage with the organization. And this is what you do every day to empower your nonprofit so that then you are well empowered with the right technology to be able to do the work that you do. A big thank you, all of you, for joining us. Please stay tuned to the next empowerment session that we have. We shall be sharing these on your emails and on our social media platforms. Thank you so much, and I wish you a good day. Bye-bye.